Good morning. Welcome to the Datadeck Files. This is a weekly stream where we sit down. Now, this is sometimes a longer stream, sometimes a shorter stream, because some Saturdays we also have Metagame, which is a Jump Rangers devs playing Jump Rangers stream that usually involves myself, Federico Estevao, our director, and Ibby Looney, the love of my life. Today, we are not doing Metagame. So this is going to be a 4-hour stream, a little bit less because I'm running late. It's been it's been a week. A lot of amazing things have happened this week. Some incredible things that um, that challenge me as well. And I'm not going to go into too much detail. I haven't signed an NDA yet, but I plan to. I will simply say that it's time for us all to stop arguing for necessary evils. And with that, why don't we make a tabletop role playing game? Today we're going to work on the. So I had some thoughts about developing the book that I've been working on around the adventure that I've been running for the Rookies. The Rookies is a stream starting at 2:30 p.m. Pacific on Mondays with Liz Ransdell. Excuse me, Liz Ransdell of Alice and My Boyfriend is a Shark fame, and Buster the Destroyer of the Star Citizen community. And, well, it's a wonderful game. I kind of pulled it out of my butt a little bit based on what Liz and Buster were interested in and what they wanted to do. And as I got deeper and deeper into the adventure, I started thinking, geez, I should write this up as a playable game. Now I'm thinking what I actually need to do is compile all of the Lume information that I have from the Datadeck files and from the Lightning job and from anywhere else into a Lume sourcebook. There needs to be a Lume sourcebook. And the Search for Spark, the adventure that we've been playing, can be a what you call it? An adventure in the back of the book. So we have a file already underway, and we're going to start with that. But we're going to be pulling from other files, which I'll keep doing as we go. We're just going to build this out and start roughing out exactly what we have here. So let's get into this. Look at that. I already have a copy of the Search for Spark ready to go. So we'll just pull that up. It's not a Jump Rangers episode. It's going to be an Intel file. Okay. Whew. It really has been kind of an emotional week. So, Intel file. Intel file. The Lume. I have cute names for these things, though. I called the source book that I did on Mistlings and the Spore, I called it Of Mice and Mandibles. We want something adorable, don't we? Um, and the other thing I want to do here is pull up, just for my own benefit, I want to pull up We'll start by pulling up just an everyday Intel file so I can check for formatting issues and see. I'll bring up the creatures of the galaxy because there's an adventure in the end of it, and that's going to be very similar to what we have here. So mission file. All this stuff here. Okay. Mission file. Datadeck file. I have everything's a little bit. There we go. Intel file. Critters of the Galaxy. I'm not going to bring this up on the screen. I'm just going to put it up for myself. Yeah. Intel file. I like a good name. So, Lume. Now we can't use. There's a famous sequel to Breakdancing the movie, a breakdancing movie with electric in the title. We can't use that because that title actually, I think, I'm not 100% sure, but it sounds like it's probably pretty racist. So let's not do that. Let's maybe we can do a play with artificial intelligence. They're not artificial. So maybe we change the word artificial to. I've got chat over here. What happens if we look up electric on Google? What does autocomplete do? Electric scooter, electric cars, no. Electric Powerplay. All right. It is not a Jump Rangers episode. We can delete that. You know what? This is also no longer Patreon. And I need to change that on all the things. So how about we fix that? Okay. That's something I'm going to do right now, and I'm going to tell you why. It's because I'm autistic, and I have, and this is just how I work. I gotta sneeze. Excuse me. I'm autistic, and if something crosses my mind that needs to be done, I need to do it when it hits my brain. And the reason why I need to do that is because I have executive function problems. I just mask them very well by making sure that if something is important and that it needs to be addressed, that I don't wait to address it. So, Undersore Alliance. We're going to go through and fix all of these very quickly. The lightning job. of Mice and Mandibles, Critters of the Galaxy. These are all the supplements that I've done. Runaways, and each of the chapters themselves of the core book. Introduction. These things absolutely will bite me in the ass if I don't address them immediately. And this is, this is an issue that affects the success of the game pretty immediately. I understand that not everybody's going to be giving to the coffee, but if people don't know where to find it, yikes. Okay. Coffee.com, Jump Rangers, copy, and then insert link. Okay. And then I export it. All right, let's just back out of here. File, export, download PDF, and save as. Chapter 8. Let's just widen this out a bit. Chapter 8. There we go. Replace. 1. This is going to take a minute, and it's not the most interesting thing to watch. I realize that. But I'm going to tell you right now. Beating your own executive dysfunction is really, really important stuff. The truth is, many of us, absolutely tons of us in the gaming industry are neurodivergent, and we have got to stay on top of our own, our own workflow. We have to stay on top of our own productivity. This is something that does need to get done. We're not necessarily in the workflow of the work that we're here to do today just yet. So there is no reason not to just jump in, knock this out, and make sure it never needs to be dealt with again. And that's kind of how I manage to stay on top of things. And apart from that, I think this is going to be a fun session. I think this is going to be an opportunity to get into, and this book shouldn't take too long because a lot of stuff has been written about the Lume. It shouldn't take too long before we have the opportunity to dive in and start working on it in the Ranger stories as an edit. It's not gonna be a long drawn out process putting this together, and that's gonna empower us to get onto other stuff like what you call it, the the other data decks, other things to do. There's also going to be you know what? Actually, there's a bunch of other source books to work on. Once this is done, we're going to do the Conquest of Earth source book, and there's a lot of stuff to add to the data deck in that source book. We're going to do a Saurian Horde source book, and then I think there's one other that's on the list. I've got a list. There's a whole bunch of good stuff coming. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Monsters of the Void. I'm making my keystrokes a little more efficient here. Oops. There. Now, pull this one out. Download PDF. This probably take about 10 minutes realistically. Chapter 5. Save, replace. Chapter 4. It's okay, Lou. It's okay. File, download, PDF. I do almost all of my work on Google Docs. I find it very efficient. I like it a lot. It's really pretty handy. And thank you to everybody for writing this out, because leaving it hanging over my head just doesn't work. Insert link. File. Download PDF. Save as. Text core book. Chapter 3, rules of the game. There's been a lot of kind of subtle but really strong, I think, additions to the core book over the course of the last couple weeks, largely owing to the gameplay in the rookies. That's just been a really, really good stream, and I'm extremely pleased to discover that the rookies themselves have had a good time as well. That's very, very meaningful to me. So, you know, there's not a lot of earth-shattering stuff in there, but if you haven't downloaded the core book in a while, it's probably a good time to change out your files, because there's been a whole lot of additions, there's been a whole lot of changes, and I'm proud of them. I think the core book actually is in a really strong spot. There's one or two weak points that I would love to find better solutions to, and I will. We still have time before it's time to actually put the game out. Mainly, I'm not thrilled with the encounter chart on Planet Rock. I think that there's a lot of, and that's such a small issue, but it drives me crazy. I think most of the stuff in there is in a very good place. And pull that out. Download PDF. That's Luna. Luna the dog is stressed out about life, and there's just not a lot I can do about that right now. All right, now we update the 5 supplements, and then we are done with this phase of the operation. Patreon. Oh, I still have Twitter. Delete row. Okay. I still have Twitter on these supplements. Let's get rid of that stuff. All right. Okay. We have a couple little changes to make here. Okay. Those changes are pretty easily made, though. Now, save. Let's go ahead and save that. Download file, PDF. Let's see, save as. Save as. Expansions. Tell file runaways. Replace. Okay. It's going to take a few extra keystrokes, but we're well on our way here. Oh, it was just the one book. Oh, that's good. I had just left the Twitter on the one book. I'm not on Twitter anymore. I don't like how they treat people. Files, save as, expansions. Critters of the Galaxy. Say replace. We're going to swap all these files out just as soon as we get this done. So if you're watching this stream, probably the thing to do is to just literally go to the Google Drive and change out your files for the game right now, because we're in the process of changing them. Add link. File, download, PDF. This is a little bit tedious. Putting it off stresses me out. So thank you for your patience. This is Mice and Mandibles Intel file. Replace. Now, lightning job. Okay. Got a couple of things to fix here. Coffee. Jump Rangers. Insert link. And export. Download PDF. Save as. There is actually a lot of work today to do. Once this is done, I've got a whole host of oh gosh, sort of housekeeping stuff, details to cover for Jump Rangers. I also have script consultation work to do. The good news is I've gotten all the stuff that's due. All the stuff that's due before the 1st is taken care of. But there's a lot of work piling up, and I want to make sure that I get on that. Oh. Luna, calm down. All right. Delete row. Drop that down and fix this. And there we go. Insert link. Now, Luna, calm down. Download PDF. The Undersoar Alliance. Replace. All right. Files are updated. Now I need to make sure that they're posted on the Jump Rangers drive. So we're going to go into the core book first. Pull out my Jump Rangers file. Chapters 1 through 8. Drop them down. Replace existing items. The other thing that I need to do, and it occurs to me right now, is the data deck. Jump Rangers. Expansions. We're just going to swap all this out. Replace existing items. That's good. And let's go ahead and revisit this. Core book. Last detail. This kind of housekeeping stuff isn't always the most interesting or the most fun, but it really does make a huge difference to have everything presented in a way that's helpful to people. Okay, coffee. That's done. Now I got to update this PDF. Export. Save as. Okay, core book. Database. Replace. The data deck really is very special and very useful tool. It's a glossary of every term in Jump Rangers and an index of where you can find everything mentioned. And it has links. So I recommend that people use it. Now, okay, let's see. I need to. Is that it? I need to upload it. That's the issue. Jump Rangers core book. And then that's the end of it. Core book. The database. Upload. Great. I'm just going to blow my nose, and then we'll get started on electric power play. We're back. That's much better. Let me just do a quick sound check, make sure this is working. Test, 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 test. Yep. Great. Thank you for your patience. All right. Let's go. So, instead of living on planets with atmospheres and ecosystems, where they could be hunted by the spore, And I think spore gets capitalized. They made the collective decision. The collective. Abandon their physical bodies, upload themselves, their minds, and their energy into Lume batteries become the Lume we know today. As we know them today. Flying around in humongous motherships, piloting robots of all description. The Lume are building their civilization in environments too inhospitable for the spore to survive. With the problem of the spore resolved, the Lume resumed their conquest of the galaxy, and eventually started an open war against the Saurian horde. All right, now you know what I'm wondering? I'm wondering if I put the timeline of the spore invasion of planet Lumina on the Jump Rangers, what you call it? Let's check that out. Let's see if I did. So, here we go. We'll take this, properties, we're going to bring up the Datadeck and see if I put the spore invasion on the Datadeck timeline. Because if I didn't, I should have a canonical answer to that question. I've decided in the game that I'm running that it was about 1,000 years ago. All right. Here we go. Let's grab this. Let's scoot over here. Okay. Transition, side by side, and interact. All right, let's have a look, shall we? So this is the data deck. If we scroll over, we can see, I guess it's further down. This is the kind of table of contents of Jump Rangers. This is every single supplement that's been written so far. This is the entries to the data deck. And here you can see that there's information on where to find. So this here is, you know what? My cursor isn't on this page. That's okay. So down at the very bottom, we also have a timeline. Yep, we don't have it. We do not have it. That's okay. So here's what we're going to do. Okay, first of all, this should be broken up. Is it? No. Okay. Let's grab. Yeah. Format. Table. Where's the table stuff? Merge cells. Tools. Insert. Format. Is this it right here? Yeah, this is it. Okay, let's fix this. Here's how we fix this. We clear the formatting. And then we add it. You know what though? No, it's fine. It's fine. The year 1222 was 1,000 years in the past. The spore invade planet Lumina. In 1222. There. Done. Now there's a specific date. Let me Okay. I'm going to be working with this on stream a lot as we get into writing new material. If we come up with any new stuff for, in fact, tell you something. We should be updating this now. So let's go ahead and do that. Planet Lumina. Planet, I think it's just L for Lumina. Lume Alv. Okay. There we go. And then we go Intel file. Intel file. Electric Powerplay. And then, what's this chapter called? This chapter is called The Secret Origins of the Lume. I think, right? We'll double check that. Okay, let's go ahead and drop an underline on that. Here we go. But not on this. There. No, not on this. Only the big thing gets underlined. There. It's not doing it. It's not doing what I want it to. Okay, so we'll go ahead and de-underline that. So let's just try this. It doesn't like it. Here's what we do. We grab, underline. It is underlined though, right? I'm not just making that up. It's a little hard to see, I think, from where you're sitting. Let's go ahead and capture all this. Copy. And then we'll just paste it. Everything gets underlined. So here's what we need to do, is just de-underline everything. Okay. And then just select the text. Okay. That works. All right. Now, let's go over here and let's just pick this back up. And secret origins. Good. Out there in the void, we need to do this entry text as well. That's something we need to address as soon as we fix this. Surviving in the void. The Lume have done their best to put the memory of their homeworld behind them. For them, once once the crown jewel of their empire. Planet Lumina has come to represent all the weakness and from which Lume seeking to free themselves. Of course, it's not hard to see. Of course, it's not hard to see. In reality, of course, have abandoned their homeworld because the idea of losing a fight was so damaging to their egos and their self-imposed notions of supremacy that they were more frightened of that pain than they would rather leave it all behind than risk getting hurt again. Their homeworld, because the idea of losing a fight was so damaging. Risk feeling that pain again. The idea of losing a fight was so damaging to their self-imposed notions of supremacy that they would rather leave it all behind than risk feeling that pain, that panic and pain. Just because they choose not to remember their home, however, does not mean their home has forgotten them. All right. I think we, for now, don't need... we're going to need the data deck. We're going to need the data deck, so we'll keep it up. Planet Lumina, right in the center of Lume space, there is a spore world which has been completely covered in hives and dust. Apart from the planet's oceans, which are pristine and brimming with life, the planet looks like a mass of paper mache, dust bunnies, and silt, cloaked in a milky white atmosphere of spore gas. Spore wasps swarm through the air, constantly on patrol. If you were to dig through the crust of crumbling abandoned hive, that covers most of this world, you would find an army of spore bugs diligently chewing through the remains of a civilization that once covered every inch of this world's surface, from the highest mountain to the deepest ocean floor. Countless archaeological discoveries are itching to be made on Lumina, because eons ago, before they traded in their bodies for batteries, planet Lumina was the Lume homeworld. So let's not say planet Lumina before we get into that. The Lume homeworld. Okay. What do we have here? Oh, okay, that's me. I was seeing some motion on the Twitch stream. I have been having a real challenge rendering last week's stream, or not last week, but Thursday's stream. I'm having a real hard time with it, and I can't figure out what's wrong. Something's clearly not working, and it's driving me a little crazy. Uh, all right. So moving on. Even before they traded in their organic natures, the Lume were society concerned with function over form. War dominated Lume culture, and their homeworld was built to withstand an onslaught. Why do you think it's taking so long for the spore to eat it all? Their planet was a metal fortress, built and designed to support their efforts to conquer the galaxy in the most efficient manner possible. Massive spires of metal rose from the planet's surface. Latticeworks of elevated causeway and roads allowed for traffic. Their planet was so organized that from space you might think the geometric shapes and patterns that covered the surface of Lumina were naturally occurring. Everything on Lumina was powered by octonium. The Lume had found a way of using the heat and energy of the planet's core to turn the very planet itself into one humongous octanator. Spore bugs have chewed through the planet to disconnect the city from the massive power source that feeds it, but the planet's octanator core is still very much alive. Nobody in the human colonies has ever heard of Lumina, but that doesn't mean no humans have ever been there. Generations ago, in 2249, a Lume mothership bearing some human colonists braved the dangers of Lumina and descended to the planet's surface. To this day, none of the colony's survivors know what the Lume were looking for or why they returned to their homeworld. No other Lume ship has done this, as far as we know. Of course, the mothership was attacked by spore bugs. Whether the Lume underestimated the spore's forces or whether they were too desperate to care is uncertain, but the mothership was overrun. Crashing into the planet's surface, the mothership was consumed by the spore. Salvaging what they could from their home, the human colonists made a new life in the ruins of Lumina. In a small sealed section of city ruins with human-made airlocks to keep the spore gas from destroying their minds, the human colonists have eked out a secret existence on Lumina to this day. When the spore chews through enough of the city to threaten the colonists retreat even deeper into the ruins of the Lume city. Along the way, they found ways of adapting Lume technology. Chewing up the city, feeding it to their queens as stuff for hives, which eventually turn to mush and weather, the spore bugs are slowly mulching the Lume tech into rich, clean soil. Once the water here was dangerous, now it's clean. By building their colony close to the ocean, by sealing themselves away from layers of city, and by carrying the wadding remains of ancient hive into the colony to use as soil in farming, the colonists have given themselves the resources to hunt and farm. While they do use Lume tech to make their lives easier, too much of it alerts the spore. For the last century, that's how these colonists have survived. in all that time, they haven't had contact with any other humans, and that's why they call their home Lost Base. Okay, we're going to delete this. Would alert the spore. These colonists have been making all of their tools and all of their tools many of their from the remains of dead spore bugs. There we go. Because using Lume tech would illume. Because salvaging and using Lume tech, these colonists have been making all of their tools from the remains of dead spore bugs for the last century. Okay. Good. Okay. So there's that. Now, did I put Gertrude Stein in this document? Because we don't need it now. Okay. We got 23 pages of stuff so far, and we're just getting warmed up. This is going to be a good book. Okay. Let's rewrite this because this is okay. Okay. Nope. I screwed that up. Dang it. Okay. First of all. There. Arial. Okay. Now we're cooking. There. Okay. Now, let's fix this because we need the data deck on hand. Properties. And that might just be the last thing nope, that's not it. Let's grab this. Data deck. There. Okay. Now, let's see. How are we going to open this? Throughout the human colonies. Huh. There we go. Does anyone know want from this galaxy? Or from their war? Does anyone actually know what the Lume... Does anyone know what the Lume actually want from this galaxy or from their war with the Saurian Horde? Does anyone know why they work so hard? To build their machines and their... We're on the right track here, but this isn't it. Most people think of the Lume as a race of giant robots, but they're not in reality. Each and every Lume is a being made of pure energy. Each Lume is a being made of pure energy with the ability to communicate and move through electrical systems. At the speed of light. The Yotun and all the other robots all the Yotun and many of the other robots for which the Lume Empire is known are actually mechs. Vehicles and tools for the Lume to use. Okay. Ipiluni and Lucinda are just getting back from a trip. I can hear them outside for the Lume to use. So all the Yotun and many of the other robots for which the Lume Empire is known are actually max vehicles and tools for the Lumes to use. If the Lume are actually a bunch of electrical signals, each with their own personnel, each with their own identity and personality, why do we call them the Lume? Wouldn't they be Looms? Hello, my love. Hello. Aren't they a plural thing? Yes and no. Lume intelligence may have their own identities. But they also are also very heavily influenced by other Lume. Are there they're also heavily influenced by other Lume. Lume intelligences may have their own identities, but they are also heavily influenced by other Lume. Most Lume as parts in a greater whole. Most Lume see themselves as parts in a greater whole. And that makes them which explains why so much more like a force of nature very much a society and seem more like a force of nature. Okay, drive safe, my love. And they, let's see, most Lume see themselves as parts of a greater whole. And they judge one another by the value and service to the goals of the Lume collective. While the Lume are very much a society of individuals, they can seem more like a force of nature to anyone who happens to be standing in their way. Rather than operating like a bunch of drones that are controlled from a central computer, think and act much more like an angry mob. Because they have the ability to communicate and so quickly with a much stronger consensus and a much They're just an angry mob that's very highly organized. All of this makes perfect sense once you understand how the Lume work, how the Lume came to be, and how they work, and how they work together. To explain things in more detail, let's start at the beginning. Okay. Okay, but they're not. Each Lume is being made of pure energy. Every Lume intelligence has its own personality and identity, but the Lume can seem more like a force of nature, less like a society of individuals, and more like a force of nature to anyone who happens to be standing in their way. Most Lumes see themselves as part of a greater whole, and they judge one another by the value and service they provide to the goals of the Lume collective. Rather than operating like a bunch of drones that are controlled from a central computer, the Lume think and act much more like an angry mob. They're just an angry mob that's very highly organized. All of this makes perfect sense once you understand how the Lume came to be and how they work together. To explain things in more detail. To help you understand, let's start at the beginning. If you'd like to know more, let's start at the beginning. That's good. That's good. And then we've got the secret origins of the Lume. And here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, Lume culture. Lume culture. We're going to grab this from another data deck here. Okay, here we go. That's easier to see. Lume Rebel, Lume culture. Okay, here we go. Share. No, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Okay. Okay. Okay, we'll take a look at this now. Boom and boom. Okay, let's just we'll drop this down to size 12. Where baby Lume come from? Easy, Lou. Okay. Um, so what do you call it when beings are forced to earn trust and respect from bullies? Respect and trust. We'll just put that, respect and trust. Okay. This is good. We're chugging right along here. Lume culture. When the Lume were still physical beings, they lived inside gray, scaly, skinny lizard bodies and traveled between the stars in search of the resources to expand their civilization. While the Lume had a great deal in common with the Saurians, they did not share the passion for war that drives the Saurian horde. In studying the ancient archaeological remains of the Lume, Saurians, yeah. We're going to delete that and start there. When the Lume is this, yeah, real 12. When the Lume realized their fight against the spore would cost them everything they'd built, the leaders of their civilization made the decision to give up their bodies to live as energy beings inside their robots and machines. While this decision has certainly cost the Lume, it does give them two advantages. First, no Lume will ever lose their higher brain function simply because they've been exposed to the toxic spore gas by which the spore conquer world after world. Secondly, being free from the limitations of biology has allowed the Lume to thrive in places where the spore can't even build their hives, at least not yet. No human really knows where the Lume came from. While there are still Lume who are old enough to remember when it happened, none of them have told the story. Maybe the memory is too painful for them. On the other hand, maybe they just don't care. We'll just delete that. On the other hand, maybe they just don't care. One thing we do know is that the Lume did this to themselves willingly. Unlike the Saurians, Lume civilization has always been united behind the attainment of perfection. Lume sought to conquer the galaxy because they thought it would help them fulfill their own potential. From what the Saurian scholars can unravel, they have always worshipped themselves. Maybe for them, the white hole was just the next step into their pursuit of their own perfect destiny. We've start this right here. Lume civilization has always been united behind the attainment of perfection. Lume sought to conquer the galaxy because they thought it would help them fulfill their own potential. From what Saurian scholars can unravel, they have always worshipped themselves. Okay. Maybe for them, the white hole was just the next step in the pursuit of their own perfect destiny. Maybe saw the spore as a challenge from the universe, like a test of their own perfection. To justify their existence, maybe they thought they had to overcome that challenge at any cost. Into the white hole. While nobody has discovered the place where the Lume's transformation actually happened, we do know there was an actual place. A huge place, somewhere on the yet undiscovered Lume homeworld, where people went to have their minds and their life force sucked from their bodies and processed into the energy state in which the Lume exists today. We don't know much about what this place was like. Those few Lume who refer to it in their communications have called it the white hole. Keep in mind that translating information out of Lume code is something humans are still very new at. Anytime we talk about Lume culture, there's a good chance we're getting something wrong. Inside the white hole, just like the inside of any communal Lume space, we call them batteries. The minds of the Lume tend to mush and meld together. Individuality gets very blurry in a place like that. Information flows freely. Communication happens instantly. Memories are shared. Popular ideas and perspectives move like tidal waves through the minds that are gathered there. And more delicate or nuanced ideas are crushed or smashed by those waves. When a Lume separates from the collective, they have been brainwashed by all the catchiest, laziest, most seductive ideas the Lume can think of. Remember, just because an idea is popular doesn't make it right. Okay. Lume culture is made of memes. And just because an idea is popular doesn't make it right. One of the ideas the Lume have clung to is the notion that they've already learned everything there is to learn. While the Lume do study saurian biology, for example, they're not really looking to discover anything. All they're doing is settling arguments between Lume about who has the best understanding of how saurians work. In other words, the Lume are always looking for new evidence that confirms what they already know. They're never looking for something new, and they probably wouldn't recognize it if they found it. If they seem willing to destroy everything in their path, it makes sense. As far as the Lume are concerned, why not? As far as the Lume are concerned, what's the point in letting things exist when there's nothing you can learn from them? More than any other idea, people get seduced by the notion that they're right about everything, that they understand how the world works. What could be more comforting than that? If people could mush their brains together into a collective mind, even for a moment, the number of people who think this way would overwhelm the ones who see things differently. Maybe the Lume aren't so different from us after all. What I'm saying is that the Lume have very, very fragile egos. Combining fragile egos with lots of firepower makes for a violent, dangerous society. When you think you know everything, the nagging possibility that you might be wrong about something can make people feel very insecure and can drive them to do terrible things. Where baby Lume come from? While the Lume don't make babies in the traditional sense, they do reproduce. When a Lume has an idea or a thought that makes them uncomfortable or that makes them feel like they might get in trouble, they try to ignore it. They distance themselves from it. If they separate themselves from this idea enough, then the idea develops a mind of its own. Wherever that Lume happens to be, whether it's in a robot, a mothership, a battery, or anywhere else, they are suddenly sharing that space with the new being they have created, and inevitably this new Lume makes them uncomfortable. After all, this new being has formed around an idea that the parent Lume didn't like to begin with. When new Lume are formed, it is the way of the Lume to surround them with the biggest collective they can find as soon as possible. This way, the new Lume will absorb the knowledge and ideas of Lume society as a whole. New Lume that are absorbed early will tend to become useful members of Lume society. Lume that mature away from the collective can be dangerous and may need to be destroyed. Okay. One thing we need to do right now is jump into the white hole thing and make sure that we um, update it. So Lumina, planet Lumina. Okay. I think we could just call it Powerplay. I think we could just call the supplement Powerplay. Put that in bold. White hole. Okay, so here we go. We'll take this and make that bold. We'll take this, make that underlined, and then we're just going to delete Intel file, Powerplay. That's what it is. It's Powerplay. Scroll over a little bit. Lumina. Back to Lumina. Lumina. Okay. Okay. There's going to be a lot of things that we need to update in the data deck as we go. I think that's great. I also think it's a really good idea to have a Lume supplement as opposed to just all these things spread out. And one of the things that I like when Dungeons & Dragons does, and I'm going to try and do the same thing, is if there's tools or characters or anything that might get repeated from supplement to supplement, I'll publish them in both supplements so that people don't necessarily need to go looking for the information. You can have one thing that gives you everything you want about a particular subject. You're not going to be mad that it's repeated in another book. I always found that really helpful because I only had to bring one book to any particular game as a storyteller if I only wanted to deal with one subject. The better a reference tool any given book is, the more useful it is in tabletop role playing. So that's something. All right, back to the game. Interact. So, and the first thing we're going to do is Intel file, Powerplay. That's it. I feel like having just one name also is more Lume. Is more Lumish. It's more Lumish. There's so much good material on the Lume in these data decks. Where Baby Lume come from? An empire of ideas. The Lume don't need a government. Let's get my glasses on. How's that? So long as they rejoin the collective frequently enough, every Lume will be guided by the most widely accepted, basic, easily digested ideas of the collective as a whole. If everyone already knows everything they need to know, and if everyone agrees on what those things are, then why would anyone need a leader? Everybody already knows what they need to do. If someone disagrees, they get bullied until they see things differently. In those rare instances where a conflict between two ideas can't be resolved through simple browbeating and brainwashing, those two Lume will set out together to prove their point. Wars have been fought and planets have been ruined because a pair of Lume couldn't agree on something. This, for example, is why the Lume keep experimenting on Saurian Rexors. When a pair of Lume get in an argument, they don't really care who pays the price for it. All they care about is being right. Oh, it looks like we got a new follower on Twitch. Thank you very much. Welcome to the stream. When a baby Lume is first allowed to journey out from under the collective intelligence of their elders, that Lume is allowed to pilot a dwerge, a spider-like maintenance and labor droid. On the one hand, forcing young Lume to work. We're just going to put that in caps. because it's a game mechanic and it's a game concept that we're going to be exploring later in the book. On the one hand, forcing young Lume to work means every Lume has a stake in how things are done. At the same time, putting young Lume in a dwerge means they can't cause too much destruction if they decide to rebel. Other Lume robots, like the Jotun and the Elves, can make short work of a dwerge if it comes to that. Most Lume will not hesitate to destroy one of their own, even if the only thing that individual has done wrong is to make someone else feel uncomfortable. As a Lume proves their devotion to the consensus and to the ideas that dominate Lume society, that Lume is allowed to pilot more dangerous robots. Of course, this makes a lot of sense. The more time a Lume spends swimming through the ideas and the emotions of the consensus, the more they accept them as ultimate truth. But Lume Rebel really does want to change Lume society. They need to have a whole lot of willpower. And that opens the door for a conversation about rebellion among the Lume. And that's a whole nother data deck that we can pull out and sort out here. Lume Rebels. Lume Rebels. Excuse me. So now we're going to grab that data deck from the Jump Rangers thing. Okay. Grab this. Doobie-doobie-doo. Let's see. All right. So we're going to talk about that and how that works in just a moment. But we're going to drop some stuff here. Okay, we're going to delete this. And we're going to grab this. Put this here. Okay, so we're looking good here. We're going to talk about this in a second. We're going to edit it and talk through it, rework it. If your heroes meet a Lume Rebel, there's a very good chance that Rebel is piloting a dwerge. There we go. And then we're going to grab another Lume Rebel character. Okay. All right. We'll fix this in the actual document here. Make sure I didn't actually delete this. Nope, it's good. So we're actually starting to use all these data decks. This has been something I've been planning on doing for a very long time. It feels good. I like it. I like that we're making progress. I'm just checking to see if we have any new visitors. Yeah, we still got somebody watching. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled that you're watching. So thank you very much for that. And by the way, since we're here and since somebody's actually listening to this, all of the core game mechanics and all of the core gameplay of the Jump Rangers tabletop role playing game is available for free. If you go to the coffee page, coffee.com/Jump Rangers, if you go to that page, then there's a table of contents at the bottom of it. If you look at the intro, the link for the table of contents is in the intro. What you get with just showing up is the text of the actual core book. And it's all the supplements, books like what we're working on now and everything else that's available through the $5 a month subscription. $10 a month, and you start getting to show up on some of our, or at least one of our weekly streams. You get access to me and the dev team a little more regularly and a little more personally. Basically, is how it works. So, and you get to vote in different things that you would like to see included in the game as well, which I think is cool. So think about it. But do check out the core book, because the more people playing this game, the more people giving us feedback, the better. And you can talk to me about the gameplay, ask questions, figure things out, or just let me know what you would like to see or how things could be done better. All of that is what Discord is for. So please don't be a stranger, and definitely check out the game itself. It's a good read too, I dare say. I've been working on it for a while. I'm happy with how it flows. I think this is a very strong tabletop role playing game, and I'm not going to sit here and name drop, but I've been told as much by other people that I definitely respect in the industry as well. So please consider it. So let's fix this here. Okay, 2, and then we got 1, 2, 3. Good. Okay. Okay. Rimbots. Rimby. Or robot infestation manufactured by itself. Rimby. Are seemingly harmless infestation of robots that have spread throughout the known Saurian and Lume space, shaped like little robot bugs in all kinds of shapes, in all kinds of designs, but always very small. The Rimbots use trash and discarded technology to build more of themselves. Curiously, the one place in the galaxy where Rimby has not been spotted is on planet Clarence. When Rimbots reproduce, they always do it by working together in groups of at least 12 robots. When they are not reproducing, Rimbys are almost never seen together. When you do see a lone Rimbot, you'll almost always see it looking right back at you. In actuality, Rimby is a Lume rebel who has successfully escaped the Lume. By storing itself in a vast collective of miniature robots, this Lume intelligence has spread so far and wide and thin that its energy signature will never appear on Lume sensors. When more than one RIMBY is within range of the RIMBY's limited wireless network, each RIMBot will possess a number of mind dice equal to the number of RIMBYs on the network. What's more, those individual RIMBots will function with the combined memory and understanding of the individual bots involved. By designing itself to consume waste for power and production, RIMBY hoped to build a symbiotic relationship with Saurian and Lume technology and either be ignored or embraced by them. For the most part, it's worked. While RIMBY doesn't have actual relationships with either civilization, it will sometimes assemble enough RIMBots to communicate with Mistlink colonies. Note on scale, because RIMBots are so much... Yeah, this is great. I love it. Sold. This is good. Let's see. I distract myself by looking at the channel. Okay. All right. Let's have a look at Lume Rebels. If the Lume believe, I'm going to just take 1 second. We're working on Jump Rangers anyway. I'm just going to take 1 second and see about downloading Ranger Stories. Twitch download is what we'll call this file. Okay. I'm having some real issues getting the file out of... I had a good stream on Thursday where we read a bunch of data decks and published the new revised data decks, edited. You know what I'm saying. and getting that video onto Twitch is causing, not onto Twitch, onto YouTube is causing a lot of issues for reasons I just don't understand. I think it might have something to do with how it was recorded by OBS. Like there might be a problem with the code somewhere. Trying to get it to download from Twitch, and Twitch is giving me issues on that. It's been a constantly unfolding drama circle. But the video doesn't expire for another 6 days, so we'll see what we can do. Now, Ranger's Roost. Okay. Okay. Now, so let's talk about this. First, let's make sure that my formatting is correct. No, my formatting is not correct. There. If the Lume believe that an individual is spending too much time in a robot and not enough time in batteries with the rest of their collective, they grow suspicious. Being suspicious of anyone is more than enough reason to destroy them in Lume society. Any Lume who wants to rebel in some way will need to learn to hide their deepest thoughts from other Lume when they join the battery. At the same time, they will also need to remember what those ideas were when they are drowning in their more popular and widespread thoughts of the collective. When a rebel relies on the strength of their mind to keep them focused when a Lume rebel relies on the strength of their mind to keep them focused, they set themselves up to fail. Any mind is weak when compared to the power of dozens or hundreds or thousands of other minds. If, on the other hand, a rebel can rely on their feelings to tell them most Lume will forget any thought of rebellion in the face when faced with the overwhelming force of a Lume consensus. If that Lume rebel can develop their strength of heart, however, then the pain, then the feelings they have about Lume society will remind them of what they're trying to do and why. Having big ideas is important, but big ideas don't give you an advantage over Lume society as a whole. Having big feelings, however, gives a Lume rebel a source of strength that the rest of the Lume can neither detect nor overpower. Okay. Dang it. Dang it. Okay. Properties. Nope. Let's see. Datadeck. Share. Copy link. This is the one thing that I am not getting with OBS consistently. Okay. All right. So we'll call this breaking free. We'll shrink it down to 12 point. Okay. And okay. For a Lume Rebel, let's see. Arial. How does a Lume and we've just figured something out. Escape. From such society. Let's see here. How does a Lume escape from such an oppressive society? Okay. Let's see here. Now, I need to duck into the data deck real quick. And interact. Let's see here. We'll scroll down to Lume Rebel. And we'll make sure that we there. Okay. There. That's one thing. So if it's 0 base, Lumina. Oh, I was in the wrong space. Okay. Let's see here. Lume, multi-ratchet rebel. What? Okay, so we need the. There we go. This. And Lume rebel. Lume rebels. There. All right. Now back to the works. Back to the good works. Interact. One thing we did just figure out is that it's all in bold. That's how it works. Okay. Let's go ahead and try a render. Okay. And just see if it works. I'm not 100% sure that it's the file. It could just be that the rendering, it's a long episode, the one that I'm trying to render out, so it could just be causing problems. I'm switching gears, I'm not explaining myself. I'm taking a second to look at the video that I've been trying to make work. And it bugs me. It bugs me. Sometimes a 4-hour render just collapses. It does happen. So, and since I'm sitting here, since I'm doing this work, I might as well get it underway. All right, so while dwerge are tough, well made, and while they don't need a lot of repair, they don't often need to be repaired. If a Lume, so long as their Lume pilots don't abuse the equipment, dwerge do need extra power. To be recharged. No. It failed that soon. What's the deal? So it's not the file. It's failing like right away now. Okay, let's try this. Match source. Let's just try exporting it to a different. We'll try exporting it for YouTube. Failed. Reset status. Failed. Reset status. Let's see. Failed. Reset status. Failed. What is the deal with this thing? Okay, let's try a different format. We'll just have it export to QuickTime. Failed. This doesn't make any sense. What is this? Mail cannot save information about your mailboxes because there isn't enough space in your home folder. I'm getting all kinds of weird errors here. You know what I should do is just upload the raw footage from the last presentation. It'll be fine. That's what I need to do. That's how I handle this. Okay. That's what I'm going to do. And I will do it once I'm done with all this. So that's a solution. Onboard octonators will provide any dwerge with more than enough power to operate at nearly for any length of time. So dwerge don't need to be recharged. If a rebel loom Ippylooney's here. Give me 1 sec. They're clear, I think. Or something. They're on my shirt. They're on my shirt. They're right here. I got them right here. There we go. If a rebel loom steals a dwerge and runs for safety. What's that, sweetie? Oh, you got me ice cream? Well, that's very nice. Thank you. No, I'll wait until I'm done. If a rebel loom steals a dwerge and runs for safety, the only thing stopping them is the other loom. Make no mistake. If a loom does not report, return to their battery of origin when they are expected to do so. Robohammers. Seeking out that loom intelligence with in order to destroy it. Robohammers will be hunting every robohammer in the Lume Empire. Will be programmed to destroy that Lume intelligence on site. Eyeballs will be on constant vigil. Intelligence as well. Every eyeball in the fleet will be on constant vigil for signs of that Lume intelligence. For signs of that particular Lume intelligence. Much as the actual robots, the artificially intelligent servants of the Lume. Exist to purify Lume space. Of unwanted life, they also exist to hunt down hunt down and destroy. Lume deserters. To the Lume, anything unexpected is unwanted and dangerous. Could be, my love. You okay? All right. Next. What's that, sweetie? Okay. Oh, I see. My wife is in pain, and I'm streaming. All right. To make it in the short term, a Lume intelligence, an escaping Lume needs to hide. If they are discovered, elves and robohammers will be dispatched. Eliminate them. Elves and robohammers. Okay. Nobody in the Lume. No Lume collective. Will take the risk. Rogue ideas gain power. will be in the long term, the rogue Lume intelligence will need to find some way a more secure form of protection. Or they'll need to find help. Ideally, they'll wind up looking for both. Will need to find some way of making themselves harder to destroy. Maybe this means seeking out new help. Maybe this means new maybe this means building new hardware. As a platform for their new life. After all, they do have a dwerge. And a dwerge is a walking tech shop. And every dwerge is a walking tech shop. In the end, an escaped Lume intelligence operating alone stands a chance against the onslaught of a Lume collective. to survive. And more integrated and more no dware to stand a chance against the onslaught of a Lume collective. To survive and escape them will need to integrate with the world around them in some way. How are they going to do this? More than anything? That depends on why they left. What is the better life that this Lume is looking for? What are they trying to create for themselves? And how do they plan to keep it safe? Here's a few. To help you in your it might be out there. Here's a couple of Rebel Lume characters to help any Jump Ranger storytellers who might be out there reading this. There we go. All right. We're cooking with gas. We got 30 pages in this book with all the stuff we're pulling. This is good. Okay. Grab this. Lume robots. Okay, we're going to just start by putting all the stuff in here. So let's grab the lightning job, and let's grab the chapter on aliens. We'll start with the robots and the lightning job because there's more of them. Okay. Okay. Grab this. Okay, we don't need all that. Whoop. Okay. The nice thing is I've already done the work of setting these up for oh, they want 2 spaces between these. Okay. Let's make sure we do that. Oh, I did it. Nice. Okay. Good. Lume elf, Lume caterpillar. Okay. Now we're going to grab the stuff from Monsters of the Void. Understar Guard. Lume Motherships. Lume Yotun. Okay. There we go. Grab this over here. J, D. All right, there's that. Lume eyeball. Is that it? Just the Yotun and the eyeball in the original book? Interesting. Lou is our old Chihuahua. She is getting very, very tired of Gambit's toys. Not gonna lie, it's funny.
He's taken over Gambit's house.
Lou has?
She won't let her in.
Rude. It makes sense. Chihuahuas are tunneling dogs. All right, that's an additional 5 pages of material right there. So, okay. What are the Lume without robots?
Hey, knock it off. Hey,
Nothing.
damn it. No.
They know it, and we know it. For this reason, we've included all the Lume robots, all the robots developed so far. Every robot developed for the Lume
Damn it.
is included in this source book. Has been included in this source book. Okay. So let me flip through and see if there's any other. There is a couple of others. There is a couple of others. Lume Culture, Lume Rebel, Rimbots. Planet Cinder, Rexsuit, Planet Scorch. That's an interesting thing that we'll get to. Spirit in the Colonies. Planet Inferno, Holidays in the Colonies, Language in the Colonies. There's a lot of stuff that I can do with a colony sourcebook. Jax Muldoon, Undersoar Hydra Gunship, Battleground Tactics Volume 1, about the author, Planet Sapphire, Robots of the Colonies, Planet Catch, Planet Lumina, Lume White. There. This is a very cool thing, and it's featured in the adventure. 1, 2, 2, 3. Yep, good. Interesting. So that's that. Let's see what else is in here that we need to include. Let me just flip through. And why don't I do that on stream? Why don't I do that on stream? We'll use the data deck. Interact. All right. And the other thing we're going to do real quick is put some Powerplay references in here. Lume White. Let's see here. Lumina, Lune Fox. So Control underline, and then this is Lume Robots. Okay. Save that. This is the Vanir. Alt. Underline. Okay. Lume Spider. Lume Shield Pack, Lume Robo Hammer. Okay. Lume Powerplay. Lume Multi-Ratchet, Lume Motherships. We need to say some things about Lume Motherships that we haven't said before. Lume Lightning Cannon. Lume Dwerge. Lume Planets. We need Lume Planets as well. All right. Let's see here. Underscore. Lume Caterpillar. Lume Alf. Dump, dump. Dump. Boom. Underscore. Lume Alf. There we go. Lume Alf. Okay. Lume babies. Okay. Put that down. Culture. Okay. Now, do this. Put this here. Okay. Lost space. This also goes here. Secret origins. Okay. That gets deleted up there. And underline. Now I'm beginning to suspect that I did not put the Yotun or the J. H-I-J. Yep. Make that. There. Okay. So we'll bring this down here. ABCD of G-H-I-J. There. Okay, and the eyeballs. Okay. And we fill that out. Okay. And we scroll down here to the Lume right there. There we go. That's a start. So let's go ahead and put the here. I'm just gonna check and see who else is watching. Give me 1 sec. Checking my channel. It's just me right now. Fair enough. Let's go over here. Let's get rid of this real quick. We're done with the data deck for now. So transition over. Interact. So let's just go ahead and copy that. Lume Rebels. I think it makes sense to go down here for this. Lume Rebels. Don't. What did I did? Battleship down. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, I see what I did. I see what I did. Okay. Okay. So, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and there. 1, 2, 3, and there. 2, 3. Okay. So, Lume motherships. Lume worlds. And we're just going to put ellipses here. This is all stuff we can work on during our next session. We got a really good, strong head start on putting this supplement together. I'm pretty happy with how it's coming along. Once it's done, it's going to need to be edited, of course, but I think it's a really good idea to be pulling in elements of other books and sort of giving all the Lume stuff a home so that people have it. And it's already as long as any other supplement, just with the stuff we took from the data decks. This is really cool. This is good. This is good. So, next Saturday, we'll sit down and we'll start writing up what needs to be written up about Lume motherships. We can talk about what happened in the rookies and quantify some of that stuff. And probably move some text around as well. And then we'll talk about Lume worlds apart from clearance and Planet Zero. It's exciting. I like it. Thank you to anybody who's watching this. Remember, you can play Jump Rangers for free. All you need is the core book and some 8-sided dice. All the text of the core book is available at ko-fi.com/Jump Rangers. There's a table of contents. The book's right there. So you can read it, you can download it, you can have it, and you can get 8-sided dice. All the supplementary material, like what we're working on here, all of that comes out of the $5 a month subscription. So any expansion material that we have, you have access to through the $5 a month subscription plan. Um, and then, if you want to be more involved, if you want to discuss the game with me in our weekly chat on Discord, if you want to get onto the Rangers Roost and talk about the game with the rest of our audience, if you want to suggest or vote up um, content that you would like to see developed for Jump Rangers, that's the $10 a month tier. And we're also going to have giveaways and stuff as soon as we can. There's dice in the works. There's other stuff coming, enamel pins, and every so often we're going to be sending out presents to our $10 a month game dev level subscribers. So please check out the coffee. It's 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 got a lot to offer. Thank you very much for watching. This has been good. Don't be a stranger, Ranger. Take care.